Join me in this eye-opening video where I reveal the secrets to crafting a stunning realistic oil painting effect. Watch as I effortlessly transform a blank panel into breathtaking rock wall, complete with cascading waterfalls that seem to come alive. If you are interested, stick around. Our first layer gonna be ultramarine blue, burnt amber, and olive green, and titanium white. Only very basic colors we're gonna use for the rock wall. For starters, we can start building up different colors, different shades and values. For starters, we're gonna use our palette knife and just basic smaller brush. So we're using only 4 colors, so we're mixing up different values with it and just isolating with the masking tape the sky, starting with the ultramarine blue on the right and titanium white on the left. And we just apply it with your palette knife and tap it with your paper towel, as I usually do. And then I just blend it with the brush, soft brush. And again, just twist your paper towel and do those white marks from the left to the right. Just get that paper towel blending with it, and then you just using your soft brush to blend it. And then I add bit by bit titanium white, tap it up, and again blend it with the soft brush, and just getting those final clouds on the top, and it's all done. And now we're gonna just fill up all those darker colors, all black darker colors, and then also the gray colors, different values, different shades. So just fill up my little sketch, which is very rough. This painting I have done in the past, so I don't need a very detailed sketch. But anyway, you just fill up all those grays and different colors and not getting too worried about the details, especially in this stage, because it's just underpainting what we're doing. Just a few marks with your palette knife, plus with your paper towel as well. I'm just tapping those 3 colors, olive green, where those bush gonna go on the wall, darker colors, and just a few tapping motions. And now I'm just fill up the water pond on the bottom using the olive green, and again using your palette knife to apply it, and then blend it up with the soft brush. And now I'm just adding up a little bit more white, actually soft white, for the reflection waterfall, so it's easy to do now while it's nice and fresh paint. So just using the soft brush to do it. And now I'm just marking up on where the waterfall goes, not getting too serious and detailed to do the waterfall yet. I'm just marking up basically where the waterfall goes. And then we just leave it for the overnight for dry. And because it's a tropics, like I always been saying, that I'm using the liquid original for the oil paint, and it dries overnight in my tropics area. Might take longer in the colder areas if you live in the northern part of the States or Europe. And now we are ready for ultramarine blue, burnt amber, yellow ochre, Payne's grey, sap green, lemon yellow, and titanium white. Now I'm starting the second layer using all these colors and always using the liquid original. And now I'm just mixing up the colors first. Need a little bit black and greens as well, different greens. It's important to use different greens because in the nature it is different. The trees got different value of the greens. And now I'm just picking up the pretty much the same brush and palette knife I'm using, and now I'm starting marking up those rock walls, starting from the top. Well, I did start from the bottom, but I now just little marks on the top using the darker black colors, and even brown. You can use dark brown, but in this case I'm using black, which I mixed up with the ultramarine blue and burnt amber together. And now I'm just picking up a smaller flat brush, and underneath that mark I just pulling up that paint downwards, just randomly, just make it a little more darker, but still leaving between the caps of the grey on underneath. And now I'm doing on the left side as well. In this side I made it a little bit more darker because the sun actually is behind this hill, so you always think about the direction of the sun, the light, where it hits. So it's important to always think about that when you paint. And here I'm just doing the rock wall underneath the waterfall, and just getting random shapes of the rocks. And then we build up with the different colors. After the palette knife marks, we paint those rocks in different shades and shapes using a very small brush. And I have an excellent tip to share later on how to transform your painting from ordinary to extraordinary, so make sure you stick around. And it's my favorite methods to get more 3D look of the painting. And here we just adding up for the rocks different colors, like I'm using the yellow ochre, and just mixing a little bit different shapes and shades. And even underneath the waterfall I just add up a little bit more blue, which is probably disappears when I add some white, titanium white later on. But anyway, here I'm just adding up bit by bit little square marks and different values, and even on the left hand side, like you can see, just randomly doing the shapes, because I on the distance can't really make sense of the very detail unless you are very close. But when you step back, it looks like a rock wall, and even using the paper towel to get a couple of little marks just randomly, to step it up very slightly, and even on the down on the rock wall there. And it does make difference. Just a little marks can make it so different. It looks more realistic than. And I made a bit of a mess there. I just wipe it up with the soft paper towel softly, because it is under paint. I can now wipe it and shape it up how I want it. And here I'm just adding up a little bit more Payne's grey for shade. Like I said, that on the left hand side there is sun, and obviously the shade part of the waterfall is on the right hand side of the waterfall. And now I'm just adding up with my palette knife the titanium white, and then I'm using a brush to actually, but in this case I did a little bit, add up too much that titanium white, so you can see that it goes totally white, but that's fine because you can manage with the paper towel. You just lightly wipe it downwards, like you can see it here, and what happens is that that gray color underneath the titanium white comes out a little bit, and it looks more. And you can use your dry brush as well, wipe it off if you got too much paint, like you can see it here. Now I'm using fan brush, which gives that couple marks, the highlights, like you can see it here. And just the edge of the fan brush, I'm just pulling it downwards, and then I just correct with if there is any things to correct with the other brush, and just adding up a little bit more titanium white on underneath the waterfall as like a water dribbles. Adding up again the shades on the other side of the waterfall, and I'm still fixing up the top of the waterfall to give a bit of a highlights, and using the fan brush lightly, very lightly, to soften up like a steam of the waterfall. And also using the brush as well, correct it a little bit, dry brush actually. What I do now is I start from the darker greens, and then I just build up with the very light yellowy greens on the top. But when you build it up, you just slightly tap it with your crumpled paper. And somebody was saying that, oh, you're using the toilet paper. No, it's not toilet paper. It's actually more hardier paper. You can get it from industrial, like for example from service stations, got that hardier paper towel. But you have to soften up first with your hands when you do it, and then you just crumple it together, and then you just tap it, and it does give that nice effect. And what I was talking about my favorite technique is actually the glazing. You can do the glazing when the painting is totally dry and you're using transparent colors on the top of your painting. You can check the painting end of this video. And thank you so much if you have followed this video this far. I really appreciate your time. And if you got any comments, or if you want to put subscribe or thumbs up, I really appreciate for that. Thank you so much. See you next video. Bye now.